The next one you were saying for stress, what's the next level again? For
Episodic acute stress.
Correct. So how would you deal with that, and how do you define that again?
Yeah, so the episodic acute stress is that your workloads are too much, that it could cause some chaos in just being disorganized in certain, maybe regularly. So examples that you keep on forgetting paying the bills, okay? So it could be, you could use a to-do list, or you could use a calendar. You have the Google Calendar, your smartphones, or your planner. Okay, so you have to write down what be your event, what would be the task that you have to do for the next month, so you won't be forgetting it, and set some reminders too. Okay? So that could help you in reducing, the forgetting some stuff. Right?
That's really true, and I think that I relate everything to work or home, right? So my life is either my family or work, and I relate everything to that, because for me, for as long as my family life is good, I can deal with anything, right? So if they're both bad at the same time, which it's inevitable, you're going to have your arguments, you're going to have issues. That's when I feel like I sink deeper into a hole or depression or something, and so I always try to make sure one is positive, one's doing well, and I try not to have issues on both at the same time. But it's not that easy to do, and to differentiate and to kind of maneuver through. So I love the techniques that you're giving us advice on, because it's something that we could actually utilize to help us get through these periods, or these darker periods of time, and manage stress, because there are moments when you're in it, you just can't think of how to get out of it. So I guess the simplest thing to do is checklist, Pomodoro technique, check in with people, or things like that. I appreciate all of those things, right? What else do you think would help if you're in that type of stress?
Let's say for the chronic stress, the chronic stress is maybe for 3 months. So it could be that you would like to have a certain project, you would like to have a certain outcome, but it's not really working. So are you the ones going to figure it out by yourself? Of course, the next thing is get some support. Okay, so the social connection is one part of lifestyle medicine. How to have a healthy lifestyle, and that's where you're going to reach out to other people. Okay, even could be experts. Okay, not really doctors or other professionals, but even experts. Let's say you have a problem in technology, then you reach out to people who are good in that kind of technology. Okay, to help you out with your problems, right? And to give you an example, what's happening because of the modern age is that when we have problems, okay, or you would just ask me to write a letter, let's say sponsorship or event proposal letter. What we usually do is we check on the search engine. What are the templates that we have we could use, and we could just copy and paste, right? But there are times that we cannot find the answer there. Right? So that's where you're going to ask your colleague, your friends, your family members to help you out, so that your stress levels would also go down. And if, let's say, you have problems, that's how your friends, your family members, your close ones, you could tell your problems, be freely tell them what you feel. There are times when you wanted to vent it out, you are reducing your stress. The problem with other people is that they are displacing their anger to their parents, their kids,
siblings, the significant other.
So we should not do that one, because they are the ones who are going to support us. So maybe that's where the mindfulness comes in. Like, I should not be doing that one to my parent. Okay, so you need to somehow restrict. You need to somehow, think first before you make an action.
Those are great points. When I think about it in my life, and I can only relate to my life because I can't assume for others, right? I've come across people who, loved ones who have difficult relationships with friends or family, and because they're unable to voice their frustration or their issues with that person, they internalize it, or they keep it inside, but they don't realize they're boiling inside, and then they start lashing out on others because of another problem. And so what I've learned is it's best to kind of deal with that problem, talk to that person, or talk to another person, you know, especially if it's a significant other. You tell them, hey, you know, I'm dealing with this on this end. You know, I'm a little bit tense right now. Can we, you know, avoid any of these types of things? And those are types of difficult discussions that I feel if you're able to have them, it benefits your home and your relationships with friends and family. You know, so I think these are great points that you're bringing up. Have you ever experienced any of these types of issues or chronic stress?
Oh yeah, I do. And there are times that I have to reach out with other people, you know, get some advices, and then once you get the you know, the top advices and something that would really be realistic, then that's how I make an action. Okay? We have certain scenarios that it's hard to deal directly with a problem. Let's say significant other, family, friends, okay? But you could tell them in a very nice way. Maybe you have to you know, wait for the right moment. There are times you have to wait for the right moment instead of just attacking or just you know, dealing it right away. And your friends and even your close ones could help you out, but you need to filter also those you know, those opinions before you make an action.
Yeah. No, I agree. With you, what would be your first step when you finally realize, okay, this has been 2-3 months of stress that I'm dealing with, whether it be in work or at home? Who's the first person that you would always reach out to kind of help you deal with that stress? Is it a significant other? Is it a friend, family, or do you go to a therapist straight away?
Well, you could go directly to someone who is close to you. You could confide your problems, and if you think that they are there to support you, when I say support, is they are listening, actively listening to you, then you could really trust that person. Because there are people who, when you just ask or just tell your problems, they would just blurt out, oh, this is not good, you should do this one. Okay? Or see a doctor right away. You're already having this one. Of course, you are the ones who's going to gauge if you're ready to go for a consultation with an expert or professional. So an active listening person is necessary for you to, you know, to help you with your problems. Okay? So it's not necessarily your family, your friends, but someone is really going to, you know, be an open-minded and be an active listener.
Yeah, you know, I'm guilty of when my wife or someone comes to me with their problems. You know, in my mind, I'm always trying to solve problems. I'm a problem solver. So instead of listening to them vent or say what they need to say, I'm giving advice. And I realize, you know, now later in life that that's not the right thing to do, especially if it's your wife or your family or your mom or whatever. It's not always the right thing to do.